For months now, we've been dealing with the fact that people like Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, if they want to, can effectively tank any piece of legislation they want, because there's the filibuster. And with that existing, you need to get 10 Republicans to have any chance of passing something. And so 1 or 2 Democrats, like, first of all, that's not gonna happen. But even if it were to happen, 1 or 2 Democrats makes it even more impossible. Well, what's good for the faux centrists can be good for the others as well, because with this new bipartisan infrastructure bill, if it doesn't actually address not just the infrastructure crisis that we're dealing with, but explicitly the climate crisis that we're dealing with, then in theory, a couple of senators more on the left could also tank it. And they could say that they're going to as a part of this negotiating process. So we don't know for sure yet how these senators are going to vote, but in response to that bill, the details of their negotiations, Senator Bernie Sanders said, the problem is this country faces enormous issues that have been ignored and neglected for a very long period of time. Even if you look at infrastructure from the narrow perspective of roads and bridges, it's inadequate. That's not me talking, that's the American Society of Civil Engineers. So the idea that after decades of work to get some sort of infrastructure bill, they're not even gonna solve the most core infrastructure concerns might turn off some senators like Bernie Sanders. You have Sheldon Whitehouse, who says, I know of 0 people who saw the bipartisan infrastructure excursion as the vehicle for anything serious on climate. Unfortunately, the grip of the fossil fuel political apparatus on the Republican Party is too strong for that. I would just add, and not just on the Republican Party. But we also have this. So here is a bit of Senator Ed Markey on last night with Chris Hayes.
It sounds like to me that they have a package which is climate denial masquerading as bipartisanship. We can't have an infrastructure bill in 2021 that doesn't have climate at its center. And any other bill that we are going to consider that does not have aggressive solutions to the climate crisis will just have that response, which I've been giving, which is no climate, no deal. That's the only way in which we can respond. This bill has to meet the magnitude of the challenges which the climate crisis is presenting to our country and to the planet.
That's not bad. No climate, no deal. Glad to have him and not Joe Kennedy. Anyway, Bridget, should they either in fact or send out a warning shot that if this is, and we need more details obviously, but if it doesn't actually address that crisis, that they will turn and tank it themselves?
I mean, with the caveat that we need more details, I say yes, and why not, right? I think that, I don't think it's helpful to sound alarmist, but Ed Markey is exactly right. In 2021, when you have parts of the country, buying respirators and things like that for fire season, when you have massive droughts and massive heat waves, we're in a heat wave in DC as we speak, it's unbearable. I think it is a farce to put out anything that does not have climate at its center. I think he's exactly right. And I think, this is the time for forceful, urgent action, not climate denialism, sort of masquerading as bipartisanship.
Exactly. For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.